Yes, respected Shrutagana, most welcome you all and receive the congratulations for being regular in this endeavor of studying our most beautiful Sanatana Dharma Upanishad Shastras. Keep it up, prayers also for that alone. 13 Vyaktitvas, Lokasevaka, Dharmastapaka, Viragi, Bhakta, Shishya, Mumukshu, Jignasu, Shrota, Sadhaka, Parishrami, Prerita, Prashanta Gambhira, and then Samskrita, Bhasha, Jnata, Vyakarana Sahita. Take the help of all great six sources of Parabrahma Tattva, Ishvara Tattva, Jaganmatru Tattva, all Devata Ganas and all Guru Ganas, as well as the Shruti Smriti Purana Itihasa Rupa Shruti Mata. What in spirituality we have to do is first the Sadhya Nishtha, that Paramatma alone is my goal, nothing else. For nothing else is real other than Paramatma. Nothing else is permanent other than Paramatma. Nothing else is free from limitations other than Paramatma. Nothing else is blissful other than Paramatma. Therefore, Paramatma alone can be and should be the goal. In this way, first we have to have the Sadhya Nishtha. For that only the continuous Shastra Adhyayana till it happens. Go on doing. We are en route that we don't know, some more time it will take. Then comes the sadhana nishtha, means to achieve that sadhya vastu, the Paramatma Anubhuti, necessarily we have to do the sadhana. It should be accepted that it doesn't happen by itself. Sadhana has to be done for it, and then that sadhana nobody else can do. I only have to do for me. These are the very, very important acceptances. Sadhyanishta accepted, Paramatma alone the goal. Just think right now, has it happened in us? So too, I must do sadhana to reach to that Paramatma. Has it happened to us? Then comes the third point of, therefore, what are the sadhanas to be done? Step by step, step by step. Outer and inner sadhanas. Every one of them we have to be clear in our understanding. In fact, this is what in general discussed in all our Shastra Shravanas Adhyayanas classes. But we are little bit don't do our homework sufficiently, so we always remain in that vagueness and ignorance. So again and again listen, again and again study, again and again do the vicharana to know first of all what are the sadhanas to be done. Once the picture of sadhana is clear, what is to be done, etc., thereafter only the first is the outer management of our outer worldly activities, of our duties, our obligations. All of them have to be necessarily sorted out. with all the maturity, all the intelligence, all the patience. Else, in our doing actual sadhana, these outer things have the tendency, ability again and again to disturb us, distract us. This clarity again we have to have that I have to manage my outer life so that it is no more a obstacle to me in my main sadhana. So the sadhya nishtha, then sadhana I have to do nishtha, and these are the sadhanas nishtha. Then the outer management. We have to manage it. All outer that is. Whether they are the situations that come to us, people they come to us, the variety of prarabdhas that come to us, the obligation comes to us, the duties come to us. All we have to negotiate, manage in such a manner that their doing or not doing should not distract or disturb us from our main sadhana. It's a big, big task, not an easy thing. And we may be matured in our many other outer activities, outer achievements, outer managements, no doubt. But then, spiritually understanding all these things, managing these things is a real maturity and it takes its time, its efforts, provided we give the time and we put the efforts. Fourth one. Then the fifth one is equally important is necessarily we have to manage, master every one of our faculties. You cannot take any of the faculty for granted, whether it is vasanas, whether it is the buddhi, whether it is the mana, whether it is the ahankara, whether it is our own indriyas, whether it is our sharira, prana, any one of them, every one of them have the tendency to disturb us, distract us from the main actual sadhana. So we should know in and out of every one of them and know how they are distracting me from main sadhana. How they have to be quietened or pacified or mastered or controlled. So ये सारा जानना पड़ता है. That's why spirituality is the toughest thing, though the goal is the ultimate moksha. And that is what takes time. That we understand the need of these things and one by one we sort out. Like everything, for the life, the food is required. When the food is required, then you have to struggle to earn the money, get the groceries, and make one by one item, isn't it? You want to be at home very neat and clean. So you understand ki this is how everything has to be kept neat, clean, and tidy. If you feel like having a garden, then you know you have to plow it, you have to make it nice, you have to put all the plants or gamla. So everywhere there is human beings intelligence to know what he wants and to get it done what he wants. Same is applicable 100% in spirituality also. That my sharira, its situation, pranas, their situation, indriyas, how they are, mana, kaisa hai, buddhi, and nowhere to regret or feel bad. Accept they are right now, they are like this. But don't be satisfied. Every one of them have to become conducive for the spiritual sadhana, helpful for sadhana, not an obstruction or liability. This we have to achieve. Isn't it now? We see all the Mahatmas, yogis, jnanis, siddha purushas. You know, in very few of them we see, not in many of them, that any of the problems they have of the outer world of people or situation or samsara or even their dehendra prana, they have troubled them. No, ekad thode honge who have that physical disabilities, inabilities, even someone must have left the body with some of the physical ailments. That is body. But during their sadhana kala, seva kala, none of them troubled. Means what they mastered. Like take example of Puja Gurudev. What an amount of work he has done. Then he has got the body, senses, mind. They must trouble him like they trouble everyone. So he mastered them. Therefore, he could keep them under check, see that they don't trouble or disturb his work, main work chosen. So it becomes a necessary thing for all of us. So the first one, sadhya nishta. Second is I must do the sadhana nishta. Third, knowing what is the sadhana. Four, managing the outer things. Fifth one, managing our own personality layers. Now comes the sixth one of continuously in that mood of sadhana, not samsara. This is the most toughest thing. Slip हो जाता है मन से साधना का मूड with all our wisdom, with all our goodness, with all our sincerity. But they are not enough. We have to be alert, we have to be aware, we have to be very strong, very ruthless to reject the samsarika mood and maintain the adhyatmika sadhana mood. Here is where helps the stay in some of the ashramas, where even if our inner mood tries to go into the samsara, the outer situation helps us in pushing us into sadhana mood. Just like we want to be in sadhana mode, being at home, but we are pushed into the samsara because of the situations around. समझ गए ना बात? So therefore, if somebody can manage at home, good, well and good. For others, they can visit an ashram, stay there few months, like that, or a week a month, or twice, 2 weeks a month. कुछ भी करे, maintain that mood of sadhana, which is the toughest one. Because just because we have heard all the theory doesn't mean that we have mastered ourselves in sadhana. No, lots of again the vasanas habits are there. Taste for the world is there so much. No, it is enough. Like the people when we take them for the camps in any of the Himalayan ranges. One day, 2 day, very good because of the newness, freshness. But from the third day onwards, the same old food, snacks, which they used to have at home, they feel like having. All other bhoga vasanas, 2 days they are suppressed. From third day they express. So they become restless. Then all the joy and charm which they had in the first 2 days, that goes away. Next to 3 days dragging only. If the camp is for 7, 8 days. And last 2 days they are miserable again for leaving that place to go back to the old place routine, not because they loved this shanti, but because when they go back they have to do again the same old routine work of obliging everyone, making the khana. आश्रम में सब आराम से मिलता है, कोई बनाने की जरूरत नहीं. एंड दे से स्वामी जी इट वाज इतना अच्छा था. ये 7 दिन यहाँ अब वापस हमको जाना पड़ रहा है. So when they say that, the Babaji understands. They never said, सत्संग बहुत अच्छे थे, मेडिटेशन अच्छा था, साधना बढ़िया है. यहाँ इतना अच्छा था मतलब the other facilities. So everything was so wonderful. When we go back, we have to be into. So that shows that we have to consciously work out on that. And like when you clean a car, just rough and tough एक कपड़ा लेके डस्टिंग कर सकते. वैसा ही होगा कार भी फिर उसका क्लीनलीनेस विल बी एट दैट क्वालिटी लेवल. बट यू कॉन्शियसली वन बाय वन पार्ट ऑफ द कार यू क्लीन द rear mirrors, the front mirrors, the what do you call it, the whatever it is, the side windows, हर एक चीज आप आराम से करोगे. So the beauty of the car is like that. Same way, our entire system of Adhyatmic sadhana, everything we have to make spick and span and tidy, neat and clean. We can't avoid it. So the outer vyavahara, the inner thing also we have to make it. Thereafter, the sadhana kalame, again the biggest thing. एक एक साधना को चुन चुनकर अच्छी तरह से करना पड़ता है, फुल्ली उसमें एंग्रॉस्ड होना पड़ता है. फॉर दैट ओनली वी आर सेइंग total spiritual mood only, sadhana mood only we have to have. Still that mood has not come to us. We are continuously every day at least 100 times jump from the spiritual mood to the world to the spiritual. Some of us though most of the time in the worldly mood, 1 hour class just spiritual mood. Maybe little half an hour other sadhanas they do. Even while doing that also, the mind is कब इसको फिनिश करके फिर से जगत में जाना है, वही वाला होता. So these all show we have not clearly understood. We are not yet matured in our understanding that what is required, what is to be done for that. So this all put together becomes the Adhyatmika Jivana or Sadhana. And while doing so, as we said, the inner personal nature deeper inside and the prarabdhas vasanas, they won't leave, and the outer world in whichever we are, they also will go in their own way. They will not be in our control. We only can manage them. To some extent we can manage, negotiate, ये तो करना ही पड़ता है ना. You can't change the weather, it becomes winter, summer. You can't change the people, they have their own expectations, insistences on our head. ये तो चलता है, ये तो संसार. बट स्टिल कैसे उसको भी निपटना है, आना चाहिए. एंड द मोस्ट ब्यूटीफुल ऑफ ऑल इज when total freedom is given to us. And in everyone's life, Bhagwan gives such periods of total freedom. To some people, patches, to some people at one go for long period. In different ways. अब कुछ भी कहो, किसी को children themselves are not there, only wife, husband. So that also is an opportunity. To some, children are quickly married, they have gone, now they are free. To some people, they have earned very good amount of money in a very young age that they can relax, retire from all of that, spend a solid 30 years for sadhana. By the age of 45, 50, sufficiently earned for next 50, 60 years. अब ये सब प्रभु की कृपा है, where he is freeing that sadhaka, that person from any other outer encumbrances or problems so that he can do so. भगवान हर एक को देते हैं. जो पहचानते हैं दे आर इंटेलिजेंट, जो यूज करते हैं मोर इंटेलिजेंट. वी शुड यूज इट. Right? So few things we discussed today. Now friends, Shwethashwathara Upanishad, we are studying first adhyaya. We took good amount of time along with Bhashya, Sambandha Bhashya to study. Yesterday we concluded it. From today we will be starting the Dvitiyodhyaya. Is very tasty, very touching, very important, and to us who are sentimentally, emotionally inclined, हमको तो ये और अच्छा लगता है because most of the portion of this second chapter is filled with bhakti and prayers. Of course, in the Vedic style, not in Puranic style or the style which we have now, but it is the same thing. And the beauty of it is, in the first couple of mantras only, we are told to pray to Savita, Surya Bhagavan, a representative of that Brahman Atman only, to bless us. देखो, Siddhanta Jnana is thoroughly gained in first chapter. That inside the Hridaya, there is a self. We have to realize it with Pranava Upasana and all. It's of Siddhanta. But before doing any of sadhana, first thing is what? Mahamanusmara Yudhyacha. Pray to the Lord, invoke His blessings, then only you take up the job. See, this is the Vedic way, Upanishadic way, Sanatani way. Whether we construct a house or whether we start preparing for the marriage of daughter or son, or we prepare for the exams or start a new company or factory, पहले भगवान का invoke करो, grace. Then continue that. It is not given up. Then as we pray to Him, and we also have already the knowledge and conveniences. The prayers also invoke His blessings. The knowledge and facilities are there. Using them, we keep on working to reach to the destined goal. Not one day for the construction of the house that we prayed. It's a first day prayer. Every day we pray. "हे भगवान ये घर अच्छी तरह बने." Factory we started. Not on the inauguration day only, but every day that Lord has to be prayed in the morning before the office or factory work starts. So every day in every activity, Bhagavad Kripa invocation, then our own serious, sincere, full efforts, depending on the knowledge which we have already gained from the study of Shastras in this spiritual field. So, the second beautiful chapter is this one. So, we will chant that chapter, then we will start studying one by one mantra. So, our common sense thought is already covered in our initial 10-15 minutes. Straight away, we will do Mangalacharana Shloka, Sankalpa, as well as our chanting of this second Adhyaya. It has already 16 mantras. Then see one by one mantra. Welcome you all, friends. ॐ ॐ ॐ ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्यासम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः ॐ यैरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वं पदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्याताः सर्ववेदान्ताः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम् ॐ शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ॐ निधये सर्वविद्यानां विषजे भवरोगिणां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् ॐ करुणावरुणालय पालय मां भवसागरदुःखविदूनहृदं रचयाखिलदर्शनतत्त्वविदं भवशङ्करदेशिकमे शरणम् ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि परब्रह्मणे श्रुतिमात्रे समस्तब्रह्मभक्तियोगधर्मविद्याचार्येभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो देवताभ्यो नमः अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः श्री श्वेताश्वतरोपनिषदा आचार्येभ्यो नमः संकल्पः तेषां सर्वेषां कृपानुग्रहेण उपनिषदुक्तब्रह्मात्मैक्यबोधेन अस्मिन् क्षणे एव मोक्षकैवल्यप्राप्त्यर्थं सनातनधर्मस्य वैदिकैन्दवसंस्कृतेः साम्प्रदायानां शास्त्राणां मोक्षमार्गाणां गुरुशिष्यभक्तभगवत् परम्परादीनां पुनरुत्थानजागरणविश्वव्याप्ति विश्वाध्यात्मिकप्रगति एकता शान्ति पुरोभिवृद्ध्यर्थम् अस्मिन् सनातनधर्मसंस्थापने कङ्कणबद्ध अस्माकं सर्वेषां निरन्तरदिग्विजयार्थं श्रीराममन्दिरवत् शिवकृष्णादिसमस्त मन्दिराणाम् आश्रमाणां पुण्यदिव्यक्षेत्राणां विश्वविद्यालय भूभागादीनां पुनरवाप्ति तेषु निरन्तरशास्त्र अध्ययन अध्यापन उपासना यज्ञयाग साधना सेवादीनां द्वारा भारतवर्षस्य सनातनधर्मस्य बाह्याभ्यन्तरशत्रूणां शाश्वतरूपेण समूलनिर्मूलनार्थं भारतवर्षे विश्वे च अस्मात् क्षणादारभ्य वैदिकहैन्दवसंस्कृतेः शाश्वतरूपेण सुसम्प्रतिष्ठावाप्त्यर्थं विश्वे मोक्षधर्मपुरुषार्थप्रतिष्ठाद्वारा विश्वसंरक्षणाभिवृद्ध्यर्थम् अस्यां कक्षायाम् आगतानां सङ्कल्पितसत्कर्मसु दिग्विजयार्थं तेषां हृदये परब्रह्म भगवत् देवता गुरु शास्त्र सत्संग साधना सेवा माता पितृदेश धर्म सनातन धर्म भक्त्यादीनां द्वारा जन्म साफल्यार्थम अनेक शास्त्राणाम् अध्ययन साधना प्रयत्न मध्ये श्री कृष्णे यजुर्वेदीय श्वेताश्वतरोपनिषदः आद्य शंकर भाष्य समेत अध्ययन साधना प्रयत्न मोक्षार्थम वयं सर्वे करिष्यामहे। ओम नित्यानंदं निराधारं निखिलाधारम् अव्ययं निगमाद्यगतं नित्यं नीलकण्ठं नमाम्यहम्। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम अथ द्वितीयोऽध्यायः पारायणम्। Total chapter we'll study, chant it. It has only 17 mantras. ॐ युञ्जानः प्रथमं मनः तत्त्वाय सविता धियः अग्नेर्ज्योतिर्निचाय्य पृथिव्या अद्याभरत युक्तेन मनसा वयं देवस्य सवितुः सवे सुवर्गेयाय शक्त्या युक्त्वाय मनसा देवान् सुवर्यतो धिया धियं दिवं बृहज्योतिः करिष्यतः सविता प्रसुवातितान् युञ्जते मन उत युञ्जते धियः विप्रा विप्रस्य बृहतो विपश्चितः विहोत्रा दधे वयुना विदेकः इन्मही देवस्य सवितुः परिष्टुतिः युजेवां ब्रह्मपूर्व्यं नमोभिर्विश्लोक एतु पृथ्येव सूरे पत्येव सूरेः शृण्वन्तु विश्वे अमृतस्य पुत्राः आये धामानि दिव्यानि तस्तुः अग्निर्यत्राभिमथ्यते वायोर्यत्राधिरुध्यते सोमो यत्रातिरेच्यते तत्र संजायते मनः सवित्रा प्रसवेन जुषेत ब्रह्मपूर्व्यं तत्र योनिं कृणमसे न हि ते पूर्तमक्षिपत् त्रिरुन्नतं स्थाप्य समं शरीरं हृदीन्द्रियाणि मनसा सन्निवेश्य बहु ब्रह्मोडुपेन प्रतरेत विद्वान् श्रोतांसि सर्वाणि भयावहानि प्राणान् प्रपीड्येह संयुक्तचेष्टः क्षीणे प्राणे नासिकयोच्छ्वसीत दुष्टाश्वयुक्तमिव वाहमेनं विद्वान् मनो धारयेताप्रमत्तः समे शुचौ शर्करावह्निवालुकौ विवर्जिते शब्दजलाश्रयादिभिः मनोनुकूलेन तु चक्षुपीडने गुहानिवाताश्रयणे श्रयणे प्रयोजयेत् नीहारधूमार्कानिलानलानां खद्योतविद्युत् स्फटिक शशीनाम् एतानि रूपाणि पुरःसराणि ब्रह्मण्यभिव्यक्तिकराणि योगे पृथ्व्यप्तेजो निलके समुत्थिते पञ्चात्मके योगगुणे प्रवृत्ते न तस्य रोगो न जरा न मृत्युः प्राप्तस्य योगाग्निमयं शरीरं लघुत्वमारोग्यमलोलुपत्वं वर्णप्रसादं स्वरसौष्ठवं च गन्धः शुभो मूत्रपुरीशमल्पं योगप्रवृत्तिं प्रथमां वदन्ति यथैव बिम्बं हृदयोपलिप्तं तेजोमयं भ्राजते तत्सुधान्तं तद्वात्मतत्त्वं प्रसमीक्ष्य देहि एकः कृतार्थो भवतेवीतशोकः यदात्मतत्त्वेन तु ब्रह्मतत्त्वं दीपोपमेनेह युक्तः प्रपश्येद अजं ध्रुवं सर्वतत्त्वैर्विशुद्धं ज्ञात्वा देवं मुच्यते सर्वपाशैः एषः देवः प्रदिशोऽनु सर्वाः पूर्वोह जातः सौगर्भे अन्तः स एव जातः स जनिष्यमाणः प्रत्यङ्जनास्तिष्ठति सर्वतोमुखः यो देवो अग्नौ योऽप्सु यः विश्वं भुवनमाविवेश य ओषधीषु यो वनस्पतिषु तस्मै देवाय नमो नमः तस्मै देवाय नमो नमः. Good. Now you can see Vedanta is taught to us in the first adhyaya, in which Paramatma, Astitva, Paramatmas, Swarupa, Paramatma, Upalabdhisthana, Paramatma Prapti Avashyakata, Paramatma Prapti Paddhati. All these most important topics are discussed in the Pratama Adhyaya. Now see the beauty in the second Adhyaya. If you see, keeping intact this Paramatma as the goal, to reach to that goal only. First, the bhakti is taught in Vedic language, of course, in the first few mantras. And then the entire second portion of this second adhyaya you have seen now while chanting. The yoga is taught. Again and again, the yoga words are used and yoga sadhana is taught. Even in Agemi, isn't it? Therefore, Vedanta is the Lakshya. Other things we take help for the sadhana. वेदांता लक्ष्य बता देता है, स्वरूप बता देता है, कहाँ है बता देता है, कैसे पाना भी. बट प्रैक्टिकली हाउ टू डू, practically we have to be prepare, we have to become qualified. They can never happen without doing the outer sadhanas of कर्म योग, भक्ति योग, अष्टांग योग. जब अब गुरु के पास गए to study Vedanta, therefore it is taken for granted or understood that to a great extent he has finished his karma yoga. Therefore, that's not talked. In Gita, Arjuna is there very much in the battlefield. कर्म क्षेत्र में है, इसलिए उनको पहले कर्मयोग बोलना पड़ा, क्योंकि उन्होंने किया ही नहीं. अब दिस शिष्य with this Shwethashwathara guru, whoever is there, he might have finished that primary karma yoga aspects, obligations. Therefore, now he is in the ashrama. Therefore, the Guru now teaches first the Lakshya through Vedanta teaching, then in the sadhana part, the bhakti sadhana first, then yoga sadhana. So, keeping the Lakshya Paramatma intact, knowing the need of all of them, understanding those processes and practicing them is an intelligent way of spiritually doing the due and developing. Right? So now, by God's grace, Guru's Krupa, let us make a beginning of the study of the Dvitiyodhyaya of this Krishna Yajurvediya Shwethashwathara Upanishad. We have made a chanting now. Let us start the Sambandha Bhashya given by Bhagavan Adi Shankara. अवतारिका पद द्वितीयोऽध्यायः. ओम अतः श्री कृष्णयजुर्वेदीय श्वेताश्वतरोपनिषत् द्वितीयोऽध्यायः. संबंध भाष्यम अनुबंध भाष्यम अवतारिका. So let us start. Avatarika means introduction to, entry into the second chapter. Sambandha means connection. Anubandha means the Anubandha Chatushtaya. So Sambandha Avatarika we see. Bhagavan Shankara says, Dhyanam Uktam. Dhyana was told in the first chapter. In brackets, you can add Jnanam, Mananam, Mathanam. In this chapter, in this text, it's called Dhyana Nirmatana Abhyasat. In other place, it is said Jnana Nirmatana Abhyasat. Of course, with the help of the Pranava. So, Dhyanam Uktam. Dhyana is told. How it was told? ध्यान निर्मतनाभ्यासात् देवं पश्येत निगूढ़वत् इति. आत्मानमरणिं कृत्वा प्रणवं चोत्तरारणिं ध्यान निर्मतनाभ्यासात् देवं पश्येत निगूढ़वत्. So dhyana nirmatana. So there the dhyana matana is explained by the Guru as manana. And what was the manana said there? Ki one by one kosha we have to just peel off and become internal. See, निर्मथनस्य अभ्यासात्. So devam pashyet jyoti rupam praprashyet nigudhavat iti. So dhyanameva nirmathanam, dhyana nirmathanam. Okay. And the upar also pranavena uttara aranisthaniyena mananatu. Okay. And again in the next mantra Tileshu Tailam 15th Visa Mananena. How do the what do we by Jnanam? What do you mean by the Dhyanam? Both are meaning manana. What is the manana? क्या मनन करना चाहिए जिसको जो हमको ध्यान में ले जाता है. मनन इज कि आत्मभूत देहादिषु अन्नमयादि अशेष उपाधि प्रविलापनेन. Please remember, whether you call it as the entire essence of the Adhyatmic sadhana, whether you call in this context the mathana or dhyana or manana, the sadhana is same. What is that? The anatma bhuta panchakosha pravilapana. Anatma bhuta panchakosha with which we identified now. When we don't do pravilapana of them, they remain. When they remain, they attract our attention. See that women at home, whether there's a work or not, till the husband goes to office, children to the school, college, she will attend to them. She physically may not do, but attention is on them. The moment they go to office, she goes on, the children go on. Now her mind is free. In the same way, till we do the pravilapanam of Panchakosha, that which is Atita cannot be experienced. After experiencing it, again play through Panchakosha, that is post realization. But the presence of Panchakoshas demand our maintenance of them, demand a lot of things, force us, compel us, etc. Therefore, उनका प्रविलापन करना ही है. So how do you do the pravilapana? By using the word neti neti. So that particular upadhi sambandhi variety of the demands, upadhi sambandhi variety of the modifications are to be denied except the necessary ones required to maintain them. Like the body requires little food, little exercise for its maintenance. ये तो होना चाहिए. Beyond that, the variety of small little modifications happen in the body and it demands so many things, not attending to such an extent that the idea of the body is not at all in the mind. Like the workers, house servants, 5-6 घरों में वो लोग काम करते. तो ये घर में आकर सारा कर दिया. When they go to the second house, they don't remember anything of the first house. Isn't it? Sales representatives. When they go to one customer, deal with him. When they go to next customer, they forget this. So too in the shopkeepers also. A postman. When he gives the डाक और post में दे दिया, अगले में गए तो you will not remember it. Cinema director. One cinema is directed, success or failure, हो गया. He will take up another story. In the same way, Anna, Prana, Mano, all these koshas, one by one, have to be in this way transcended. Feel the meaning of what is said. What is right now position is our awareness, our attention, our identity fully is with these koshas. Therefore, their demands are our demands, their problems are our problems. That is called samsara. उपाधियों के द्वारा संसार में बाहर जगत में जीना ही संसार है. As a jiva, nirupadika brahma we have to realize. Therefore the word said is pancha kosha pravilapanena. Then how clearly we understand what it means and how we clearly understand how to do defines our maturity. That we have studied many other shastras, we know that what it is meant. Some examples are given just now. In the same way, the pranamaya kosha needs little pranayama, and actually the hunger and thirst are the lakshana of the pranamaya kosha only. दे दो थोड़ा उसको. उसके बाद it is out of our attention. So to the mind. Minds Job is minimum. It should receive intellects, orders, and execute with the senses outside of both little of the obligations that are there to be done, duties that are there to be done, and the other sadhanas. है ना, जो इंद्रियों के द्वारा किए जाते हैं उनको कराना is the mind's work. Mind is like a maestri under contractor buddhi. The buddhi, the contractor, knows what is to be done. Then he has to get it done through the laborers. But directly he will not involve. He has a maestri in between. And maestri doesn't do, he makes them do the work. And kabhi kabhi he also works for his extra salary, okay, exception. But the mind is the maestri, getting the faculties do the dharma, the obligation, the sadhana. उसके बाद उसको फिर हमें माइंड नहीं करना. The mind's emotion, mind's projection, minding the people and things, and the attachments to them and the aversions to them. ये सब खचरा है. It's of no use even in samsara. It destroys all our relations. अब संसार में इस ना बकवास का जरूरत नहीं है. When we come to the inner adhyatmic sadhana of trying to know self, how come they have any value? None of the business of the mind. Shut up. In this way, one by one kosha, intellect also, its job little in the outer world is to see the good and bad and to protect ourselves, etc. Other than that, intellect should be withdrawn into only the contemplation of the self. इस तरह पंचकोश प्रविलापनेन. पंचकोश pravilapana is manana, takes us to the dhyana. In that, because the Panchakosha Pravilapana is done, the Atma Vastu, which is already there, is experienced. Whether you call it as, in the Yoga Bhasha as Samadhi, in the Veda Bhasha, it's called Vedanta Bhasha Jnanam or Atma Jnanam or Atmanubhuti. So, Jnana Nirmatana, Dhyana Nirmatana, Manana, Panchakosha Pravilapana. Be clear about it. Why should we forget it? Such a salient, important knowledge. So, in the introductory Bhashyam, Bhagavan says, ध्यानम उक्तम ध्यान निर्मथनाभ्यासात devam pashyet nigudavat iti in that mantra. That's the point he is holding on to. Very important. And taking the help of Omkara is not repeated. Even though it is not said, it should understand. ध्यान करना है, ज्ञान करना है, मथन करना है, तो आलम्बन होना है ओमकार. It is told. Then it is taken for granted that we remember. Therefore, every time it is not repeated. Now, after that, what? Ki, uh, uh, why should this dhyana is done? Should be done. क्यों कहा? आत्मानमरणिं कृत्वा प्रणवं चोत्तरारणिं ध्यान निर्मथनाभ्यासात्. Why? Because Paramatma darshana upayatvena. This is a upaya for Parama Atma darshana. Parama supreme, Atma self, darshanam is anubhuti. For the experience of the Supreme Self, this dhyana nirmatana is the upaya. That's how it was told. What is said in that mantra? Devam pashet nigudavatu. So, like the Agni in the fire is niguda, through the churning it is brought into manifestation. So, too, the self is there in every one of us, in me, in my heart. I don't have the experience of it. Experiencing that self is the goal. For that, this churning is done. Dhyana matana is done. So, why the dhyana matana? Ki paramatma darshana upayatvena. So, dhyanam uktam. ध्यान निर्मतनाभ्यासात devam pashyet nigudavat iti. Through this mantra, dhyanam is taught. Why? Because Paramatma darshana upayatvena. Because this dhyana matana is the upaya for Paramatma darshan. Now, the next one. Idanim. Then what are you going to tell, sir? Almost the subject appears to be complete. Onkara ka alamban diya with all yukti and shruti. The self is inside, that also is proved. And do the dhyana nirmatana through which the panchakosha pravilapana you do it. Then the niguda deva, the fiery Paramatma who is hidden, allow him to manifest or experience him, बोल दिया, हो गया ना सब्जेक्ट. नहीं हुआ. और एक चीज है. व्हाट इज दैट? इदानीं बी अटेंटिव. तद अपेक्षित साधन विधानार्थम द्वितीयः अध्यायः आरभ्यते. So why the second chapter starts, and what is the content in that second chapter? Idanim tad apekshita sadhana vidhanartham. Tad apekshita sadhana means to be able to do the dhyana nirmatana, so that niguda atma, we have the darshana, whatever the sadhanas required depending on wherever we are staying now, to they are to be told. That is why second chapter. इदानीं तत्साधन विधानार्थं द्वितीयः अध्यायः आरभ्यते. That's what we are every day seeing. Unless we prepare outside and inside, we cannot enter into that pure spiritual mode of Atma Chintana, Atma Manana, Atma Mathana, Atma Dhyana, Atma Anubhuti. So Shankara Bhagavan very clearly. Now somebody might have already done those things. Never mind, very good. किया कि नहीं एक बार चेक कर लो. 1 or 2 will be there like that. बाकी सबको तो ये करना ही पड़ता है ना. लाइक सम स्टूडेंट्स ज्वाइन आश्रम, मानो 20 ऑफ देम, उसमें एक दो ऑलरेडी संस्कृत पढ़ के आए हैं, बाकी को नहीं आता, तो उनके लिए संस्कृत पढ़ाते हैं. या एक दो जो है बिकॉज ऑफ हिज फैमिली परंपरा, पूजा विधान ही हैज ऑलरेडी लर्नड. लिटिल एडजस्टमेंट्स हैव टू मेड लाइक दिस, बट द अदर फेलोज एब्सोल्युटली रॉ. हो सकता है कि नहीं? Here also, some may be qualified, but most of us have to see that we are qualified. Ensure. So, idanim tat sadhana vidhanartham. So, to make us qualified for doing this manana chintana, Dvitiya Adhyaya Arabhite. So, Dvitiya Adhyaya tells us the vidhi vidhana of the sadhanas to be done to become qualified for this Atma Chintana, Atma Matana, Atma Dhyana, Atma Manana. If somebody is qualified, straight away he can enter into. If he is not able to do the deep contemplation of going beyond Panchakoshas, so these preparations are required. Therefore, Tatra, now in that Apekshita sadhana vidhana, in the expected sadhanas that is to be done, Tatra Prathamam, first and foremost, Tat Siddhyartham, to obtain the qualification for Paramatma Prapti, Savitaram Ashaste. Bhagwan Surya is being praised or prayed or requested. देखो, we are talking of Ekameva Advaya Brahma Jnana, but here Bhagwan Surya Upasana is taught in the Upanishad itself. Different way. There the Upasana is very precise, very sublime, very subtle. Those who could not catch it, then the elaborate Upasanas of the Dhyana, Avahana, Asana, the entire Shodasha Upachara or Bhakti Sopachara or Chatushashti Upachara are developed later on. The more upacharas are required, if we are less qualified, more distracted. If we are more qualified, less distracted, the upasanas are very precise. Thoda sa hi bas. So in Vedic Kala, the students were so clear in their antakarana to a great extent. इसलिए short, sweet, precise upasana. In that also, nothing. बस थोड़ा सा अर्घ्य दे दिया, उनको प्रार्थना कर दी, that is enough. Not like today. After the Pauranika Kala, any devata you have to do Nityotsava, Pakshotsava, Masotsava, Samvatsarotsava, Panchavarshotsava. And in that, so many of the elaborate things we have to do. Because we are so much distracted in our mind in million things. To bring all our attention, itne sare ab jarurat hai. In those days, itne nahi the. Only little bit, just offer Argya Pradhana, recognize that Surya is none other than Paramatma himself. Pray to him, O Lord, make me qualified for this internal journey. हो जाता तभी वो. Because even though the quantity of the prayer is less, but the quality is of the highest order. with the purest of the faith. Even little hair like disturbance also is not there in that faith. Such a strongest faith. Somehow that Vedic काल में, even श्री राम जी के काल में जो faith जो होता था ना इतना पक्का, not like now the 2% faith, 98% doubt only. That every disciple looks to jump into the other guru. And most of us want worldly things, not the absolute pure spirituality. आज के दिन में वहां ऐसा नहीं है. They finish all the obligation, go to the guru, take the guru as mata pita bandhu deva, totally surrender, and then little of prayer, things are done with the guru or the god. So again we'll sing dhyanam uktam dhyana nirmatana abhyasad devam pashyet nigudavat iti paramatma darshana upayatvena. इदानीं तत् अपेक्षित साधन विधानार्थं द्वितीयः अध्यायः आरभ्यते. तत्र प्रथमं तत् सिद्ध्यर्थं सवितारम् आशास्ते. So for getting the qualification winners for doing the manana chintana, first and foremost the upasana, the prayers are done to Savita for him to bless us. Now, one or two things today we'll discuss and go further. Key. That means what? Even though ultimately Ekameva Advayam Brahma is there, which we have to realize and which we are already actually, yet because we are lost in the Upadis and we are with the Vyashti Upadis, then the Vyashti Upadis come from the Samashti Upadi. Samashti Upadi is managed by the Ishvara. Therefore, that Ishvara in any of the form, here in the form of Savita, in the Puranas, in the form of Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, etc., we have to invoke because the individual Upadis from the total Upadis. We have to invoke their grace for this individual Upadis to be better. And that Ishvara definitely yielding to our prayers blesses us for these Upadis to be fit enough for doing that Atma Chintana, Atma Manana, Atma Mathana. Dhyana Nirvatana Abhyasa Devam Pashet Nigudavat. So is it clear? At the sadhana kala, to save ourselves from the tyranny of the upadhis, to make the upadhis conducive for the adhyatmic sadhana, what we can do is very little because वो बिगड़े हुए हैं. Like the children pampered and tampered, अब इतने बिगड़ गए, they revolt, they fight, they educate with to the parents only. अब उस बच्चों को अभी पेरेंट्स कहाँ पढ़ा सकते? दे हैव टू टेक हिम टू सम काउंसलर, सम गुरु, है ना. अब वो महात्मा जी कहेंगे तो इस बच्चे को अच्छा लगा तो सुनेगा. Like your son of 50-60 years grown, what can you tell him when he started telling you already 30 years back? In the same way, our faculties have become habitually extroverted, full of vasanas. अब उनको कहो तो वो कहेंगे तुमने ही तो हमको अभी तक वहां ले गए और suddenly you tell us to change the whole direction, that to 180 degrees इस तरफ से उस तरफ. They say हम नहीं मानेंगे. That is why we need the help of the Samashti Ishvara. He has his own knack, tricks, abilities to bless. Because all upadhis are under his control. That's why he's called as Ishvara. The main remote is with him. If you don't pray, he may not interfere. But if we pray, definitely he comes to help us. Such power is there. Such Ishvara is there. Here he is talked in the name of Savita Bhagavan Surya because he is a Pratyaksha Daivam. You can see him. And his colossal work you can see of illuminating the entire world. So that is enough to give value, importance to him. And that was the nature in those days. It is not like today. That very little I have, but that is enough for me to become so arrogant that the bigger people than me, I just belittle them, look down upon them. ऐसा नहीं होता था वहां. वो लोग सूर्य भगवान उनका निरंतरता is giving prakash and garmi heat with which the whole world is surviving. They acknowledged it. They said you are Bhagwan because you are just taking care of everything. They look at the tree, they see how many ways the tree is blessing. Therefore, for them, the tree is Bhagavan. They look at the mountain, its magnanimity, its hugeness, the amount of trees it is supporting, and amount of glaciers it is holding to give us water. That colossal work, when they see, Are yaar, tum to Bhagwan hi," like a doctor, when he treats us and brings us out of any problem, which we thought, no, it won't be cured. कहते नहीं कि हम, अरे आप तो भगवान है भैया, आप मेरे लिए जान बचाया, है ना? Somebody when you need a money, they give you loan बिना इंटरेस्ट का, बस 4 साल तक रख लो, कोई नहीं, थोड़ा थोड़ा दे दो, इंस्टेड ऑफ दी EMI you pay me that money, so your main money only is cleared. I can afford to give you that loan, never mind. No, don't you say that you are a Bhagwan only, you have saved me. Otherwise, the middle class, lower middle class, they can't pay the EMI. जिंदगी का करते करते वो और कुछ नहीं कर पाएंगे except that frustration that क्यों मैंने अपना own घर बनाया. Other thing he can't do because whole mind is there. Every month पैसे कटेंगे. खाना भी ठीक नहीं खा सकते वो लोग. But this man came forward and said, "You want 5 lakhs? So take. How much every month you have to pay EMI? 4,000. You give me that, and that is the original only amount." So in this way, of 20 into 500 months. In between कुछ एक कभी पैसे आए तो ज़्यादा दे दो. So you say he's a Bhagwan. And 4 lakhs when he's paid, he says, चलो 1 लाख कोई नहीं, तुम छोड़ दे रहे हो मैं तुमको. I have money, Lord has given me. See, he's like Bhagwan only in today's world. In the same way, for them, the river is Bhagwan, Bhagavati, was continuously flowing, giving the food and everything. You understood how they defined Bhagwan. So the Savita is Paramatma for them now. So he is doing the Upasana to Savita. Now to this Upasana, we can add today's all other Upasanas of the Gayatri Ucharana, Sandhya Vandana, Surya Suktams, Surya Stotrams, Surya Japa. We all can add depending on our taste and our requirement. So यहाँ तो the final part is taught. What is it? Just pray to him. But before we pray to him, we have to in our heart have full faith and attention on him. For that we do the upasana. And when we do this and express our shraddha in him, then his attention also is towards us. Then we can pray. है ना? जैसे मैं आपको प्रे करता हूं, तो उससे पहले मुझे आपका उपासना स्तुति करना है. इससे मैं भी आपसे ट्यून्ड हूं और आप भी सुनकर स्तुति को, उपासना को, यू टर्न टुवर्ड्स, देन आई कैन प्रे. So here only prayer is taught. Please bless me in this way. Very beautiful, very touching, very required. So those who are getting frustrated of listening to Vedanta, यार ये भक्ति का भी कुछ करो. अब देखो in the last Upanishad, the first sadhana bhakti only is told. Last means before the bigger Upanishads. In the ninth Upanishad. So it sorts out all our doubts. What are they? Goal is Ekameva Advaya Brahma. Sadhana is Panchakosha Atita Sthiti. To be able to achieve that, to be able to do that sadhana. The uncontrolled, the virulent faculties of mind and senses, which are extroverted, can be brought into introverted. Of course, by our own self accepted discipline, which will work for 10-20%, but the remaining is Prabhu Kripa. Bhagavad Kripa. Same Bhagavan we were praying earlier for giving us the worldly things and samsara. Now we'll ask him to bless us in spirituality. That's why, why we are doing every day the Sankalpa and Prarthana. है ना? Why we are saying take the Alambana of all the six. उसमें हम the third one we say of the Devatas. The Shastras, then the Guru and the Devatagana. अब देखो हम जो कह रहे हैं उसके लिए अथॉरिटी मिल गए कि नहीं. नो लेस देन साक्षात उपनिषद का अथॉरिटी मिला. सो देयरफॉर परमात्मा प्राप्ति इज लक्ष्य. पंचकोश प्रविलापनम इज द साधना. For that, the dhyana nirmatana is the means. To be able to do all of them, our faculty should be controlled intact. For this, the upasana. उपासना में दो बातें होते हैं. उपासना काल में we are trying our best to control our faculties because the upasanas are done with the faculties. Karmendriya, Jnanendriya, Antakarana. Up, we are aiming at the God while doing this upasana. Na? We are addressing to Him. Therefore, secondly, He also blesses us for the same result of the entire antakarana and bahishkarana, bahikarana control. है ना, जैसे मैं आधा घंटा उपासना कर रहा हूं, उसमें ज्ञानेन्द्रिय कर्मेंद्रिय अंतःकरण आई एम ट्राइंग टू प्यूरिफाई डिवाइनाइज इंटीग्रेट मेरे तरफ से. एंड while doing this upasana say Rama or Krishna or here Lord Surya, I am doing to him mano, वो तो है ही that Bhagwan anyway, so he will also bless me for the same result of purification and empowering of these faculties. And why all of that? For the dhyana nirmatana. For what? For devam pashet nigudavat. Those basic things should never be forgotten. Our goal is niguda paramatma ka anubhav. For that, dhyana nirmatana is sadhana in which Panchakosha Vilapana we do. To become qualified to do that, our faculties have to be divinized, purified. Their extrovertedness should go away. And we'll do a little bit with our responsibility, our nishta, some disciplines. But more than that, Ishvara Krupa is very powerful. What I achieve in many lives, in one grace, the Ishvara can make it happen in few days. है कि नहीं? अब जैसे कि आप कोई एप्लीकेशन दिए कोई ऑफिस में सरकार में, अब वो क्लास 4 वाला ही वो क्लर्क के पास 2 दिन में ले जाता है और क्लर्क 4 दिन छुट्टी लगाया उसने, क्योंकि उनके पत्नी के, बहन के, इनके उनके जो भी शादी है. So till that fellow comes, nobody touches it. When he comes, then he sends into the next UDC level, and that time that fellow has taken chutti. Then it will have to go to the next section officer. तब जाकर तो वो कितना दिन लगता है. But directly if you are in contact with the head of the department, क्या होगा? He just will call that class 4 or this clerk, not even them. His next immediate को बोलते हैं, get that work done. He will run to all levels and get the work done. We see it in the world, no? Same in spirituality. Directly pray to the Ishvara, by His Krupa, many of the obstructions inner and outer go away. Everywhere it is so. Like you are familiar with a big person, your medical facilities, your governmental permissions, your electrical things, all of them get easily done. कोई जानते नहीं है तो प्रॉब्लम, अकेले हो तो फिर धक्का मुक्का खा के घंटे रहना पड़ता है. तो यहाँ क्या है? When the Lord is available, directly contact Him, invoke His grace. So the first mantra is, second mantra is, third mantra is Prarthana Rupa Upasana to the Lord Savita to bless us with our integration and purification and introvertedness of our faculties, so that we are able to do the dhyana nirmatana for the pashet, to see the niguda deva, to realize the atman, the self. What is that mantra? Let us see. Om Yunjanaha Pratamam Manastat Yunjanaha Pratamam Manaha Tatvaya Savitha Dhiyaha Agner Jyotir Nichaya Prithivya Adhya Bharat. Again, Yunjanaha Pratamam Manaha Tatvaya Savitha Dhiyaha Agner Jyotir Nichaya पृथिव्या अध्यावरतो. तो सविता is the main person, Lord Surya. Savita, what he should help me? Ki prathamam manaha yunjanaha. First sadhana to be done is the mind has to be yoked or attuned to that Paramatma through the dhyana nirmatana. For what? Tattvaya, to experience the self. So Tattvaya, to experience the self, Pratamam, the first, Manaha, the mind, Yunjanaha, to be yoked in that Dhyana Nirmatana. Okay, so for me to be able to do that, that Savita should bless me. What should Savita should bless mean? That Mana and this Dhiya. Dhiya means Indriyas. Both of them. Agnehe Jyotihi Nichaya. So Agni is one Devata for the Vani. Jyoti means its work of speech. Nichaya means becoming aware. Prithivya means its extrovertedness. Adhi means pull it. Abharat means become, make it introverted. सिंपल मीनिंग क्या है? यू हैव नॉट गिवन द वर्क, देयरफॉर योर सर्वेंट्स आर किचन में गप्पे मार रहे हैं या पीछे बरामदे में या बैठ कर कहीं ताश खेल रहे. So when the work is there, you just call them, then they attend to you. In the same way, these mind and faculties are going outward, not allowing me to become introverted. So we pray to Savita. Oh Savita Bhagwan, you tell the Adhisthana Devatas that their respective Indriyas should be in their own Indriya Golaka. Let them not go out. Because when they go out, through them, my mind also is going. And the mind has to be applied for Paramatma. Pratamam Manaha Yunjanaha. तो मेरे मन को प्रणव के आधार पर आत्मनिर्मतन करते हुए उस परमात्मा को जानना है. But the mind is friend to the senses. Senses are going out. Therefore, the outward tendency of the senses may be blocked, may be stopped. What you do? Bring those, the perceptions of senses to their own self. That's called as Sthapanam Swasva Golake. These things, which are tough for us to understand, are made simple by the Adi Shankaradi Mahatmas by saying that achieve the Shama and Dhamma. What is talked in these two shlokas is invoking the grace of Lord Surya for the Shama, the control of mind, Dhamma, the control of senses. What is their control? Pulling them back from their earlier routine extrovertedness before we started taking Paramatma as the goal. यू नो लाइक द आवारा यंगस्टर ग्रेजुएट, एक साल कोशिश किया, नौकरी नहीं मिला. एवरीथिंग इज इरेगुलर दैट फेलो. what time he wakes up, where which friend he goes, which time he goes to playground and plays, which movie he sees, नहीं पता. अब सडनली उसको नौकरी लग गई मानो. एवरीथिंग फॉल्स इन लाइफ. So when the Paramatma was not goal, all these faculties were rushing, gushing everywhere. Now Paramatma is goal, mind has to attend. And for that, the mind is leaking through senses. Our senses and mind, please pull them from any outer activities. Like बच्चा अभी बिगड़ता है दोस्तों के साथ, तो इंटेलिजेंट मदर फादर उन दोस्तों को बुलाते हैं, क्योंकि गधा तो सुनता नहीं. तुम्हारे कारण मेरे बच्चे बिगड़ रहे हैं, यू डोंट कम टू आवर हाउस. That is one technique of controlling this fellow. In the same way, when the sense organs, dhiyaha, and their adhisthana devatas are told not to do the prakashana of the outer objects through the senses become quieted. When the senses are quieted, the mind is easy to be applied for the self. Like the friends are not coming, then the son can be told, now sit and study. बिकॉज़ वो एक एक्सक्यूज़ था उसको, दोस्त लोग आते हैं तो मैं उनके साथ जाए, वो आ ही नहीं रहे. सो मनः प्रथमं युञ्जानः तत्त्वाय सविता धियः अग्नेः ज्योतिः निचाय्य पृथिव्या अधि आवरत्. पृथिव्या मीन्स एक्सट्रोवर्टेडनेस. आवरत मीन्स पुलिंग इनटू. किसको? ज्योति मीन्स प्रकाश कैपेसिटी. अग्नि मीन्स ऑफ द वाग इंद्रिय. So Vag Indriya, its Adhisthana Devata is Agni, and that Agni Devata doing the prerana to the Vak, then Vak speaks the Vani. That speech is called as Jyoti. So that Jyoti is speech. The speech is happening with the mouth of the outer worldly things. So what should the Savita do? He should see to it that the speaking Agni Devata withdraws his speaking ability from the mouth so that the speaking is stopped. Then the mind is not going through the mouth to be extroverted. That mind can be applied for the Atma Nirmatana or Dhyana Nirmatana, Jnana Nirmatana. See that? So here Agni and Jyoti are one example out of 10 Indriyas. So in this way, all the 10 Indriyon ko, Indriya Adhisthana Devataon ko, Indriya extrovert ना होवे, ऐसा आप कंट्रोल करो करके. वी आर टेलिंग द बॉस डायरेक्टली. द बॉस इज सविता. See the beauty of it. Telling Surya directly that let the Adhisthana Devatas withdraw or block the sense organs from going outside. so that the mind has to become introverted. No, when you have studied Vedanta and all, it is easier for you to or us to understand what it means. The Indriyas, they are going outward in pursuing the world, creating havoc in the mind, temptation in the mind, desire in the mind. Whole life is samsara. अब इंद्रिया बाहर ही नहीं जा रहे, तो कोई चीज को देख ही नहीं रहे और फिर माइंड को प्रेजेंट ही नहीं कर रहे, तो माइंड खराब ही नहीं होता है ना. द letting loose the indriyas outside, letting the mind leak to them is at the time of corona sending our children outside. They will only bring the corona along with sabji. Now, what we saw in our common sense thought today and this, is it not going together? Once the sadhana nishtha made, after finishing the outer obligations, now we have to manage our inner faculties. Ab dekho. Taking the help of Savita. Savita can do it. So Shruti Mata ka hi authority hai. So just I am there behind my own individual upadhis. There is Lord behind the total upadhis. These individual upadhis come from total only. So total anytime has the command on the individual. If the individual allows, the total can protect it. Like Indian Army is under the control of the government of India President. So if they permit, the Indian Army will take care of the required things, whether it's a flood situation, earthquake, or terrorist. इस तरह से. So we have seen the meaning of this sloka. Tomorrow we'll see with Bhashyam. It continues for the next 3-4 mantras. And then 3-4 months is to ensure that in proper attitude, with proper paddhati, we are invoking Savita's blessings or kripa, so that our mind and indriyas are not in their respective worldly subjects. They are controlled, they are withdrawn. Then now the mind can single pointedly be applied for the jnana or dhyana nirmatana to see the devam pashyeta nigudavat. What is it? Let's see tomorrow. Om 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 Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Paramanashibhyo Parabrahmane Shruti Matre Tatsat Brahmarpanamastu. Thank you. Meet tomorrow. Don't miss. Come in 5 minutes for Gita.